Hey everybody, welcome back to MacCustoms. As you can see, we have a flock of chickens running around here. We just got home with our 60 meat birds for the season. We got them all settled. They all had their beaks dipped so they know where the water is. There's a little heating pad over there. And they seem to be doing pretty good. They're finding their water. They're all making their little nests over here. So we're just going to give them a chance to settle in, and we're going to follow these guys along for the next 8 weeks and show you guys how they grow, and eventually in 8 weeks time we'll be doing the processing video for you. I'm going to ask that you guys subscribe to help our channel grow, leave us a comment, let us know if you raise meat birds, if you'd like to raise them at some point, like the video, and if you know anybody that could use some help raising meat birds, make sure you send them a link. You can share our videos. Here we have the little heating hut. And then over here I made a little hot tent. Well, everybody, I have a little update on our accommodations for the chickens. I had to take them out of the shed last night because they just looked so cold and I felt horrible. So I set up our tent, took them into the garage where it's like 24 degrees, and we have a little camping setup for them till it gets warm enough out there. They seem to absolutely be loving it. They got their food, and I kept the little cardboard cabin I made for them. Put the heat lamp in there just in case. So yeah, this is now day 2 with our meat birds. We had one little one that got sick last night. She was really weak, and I think the cold might have got to her. You can also see here, this little one, I put a little blue marker on her so I can identify her. The reason being, she had I'm not really sure what happened to her last night, but even after she got warmed up, she was pretty weak. She was having a hard time. So we took her in the house, and she spent the night sleeping in the house with us. She's fine today. She's back with all her little buds there. Like I said, I just use a non-toxic washable marker to put a little mark on her so I can keep observing her. Now, unfortunately, we did end up losing one. I noticed one of them was laying kind of right in this area. Wasn't really moving. It was pretty lifeless. So I took him out. Well, I don't know if it was a him or a her. I'm going to call him a him. Took him out, put him in a little isolation container. And as I was going to mix up some sugar water to hopefully get some energy back into him, he passed away. There wasn't really much I could do. I do feel pretty bad. I wish I had spotted him earlier, but unfortunately it's just part of raising chickens. So that is the update on day 2 of our meat birds. Let's do a little update on the meat birds. So right now we are at 2 weeks since we took them home. There hasn't really been a whole lot of activity with them in that time, except for them growing. You can see the size difference now. They're definitely no longer cute, fluffy little chicks, but they're starting to grow in their feathers. Some of them are kind of bare, which will happen. If you are raising meat birds and they're having some trouble growing their feathers in, we always been told bust up some cat food, grind up some cat food. It's really good for them. There's, I think, lots of fats and oils. So we're going to do that later today. Right now, they are still, as you can see, in their tent enclosure. I moved it back over to the actual chicken barn now that the weather's warmed up a bit. But I decided that the tent was a great idea. I still have the heat lamp in there if they need it. If not, they can just move over to the side. They're getting big now, so we have 2 water and 2 feed dishes because they're crowding. So you can still see that they're crowding around, but they'll figure it out. They're big now. And yeah, so 2 weeks old right now. We're going to keep you updated as they're growing, and especially when it's time to get all of these outside. Oh, one other note. In the 2 weeks, we did so far lose a total of 3 of them. So we are down to 57, which is still really good. They do say if you can get 90% to processing day, you're doing good. So we are still well within that range. We still have about 6 weeks to processing time. I'm going to give you a little update here. We're at day 19, so we're just shy of having these guys for 3 weeks. And as you can see, the tent is down. So the tent was great until it wasn't. What happened last night, the water bucket, I don't know if it wasn't level, if it got knocked out of place or something, but it leaked everywhere. So 5 gallons-ish of water landed inside the tent. It was a sloppy, disgusting mess when I came out this morning. I really should have got a little video or a couple pictures, but it was one of those things I just had to get it done right away, get them out of there so they weren't laying in a bunch of wet, disgusting shavings and manure and everything. So they're all in this is the original enclosure again. They're all kind of out and about. I do have the trouble now of getting, I don't even know how much that weighs right now. Like, I'm going to guess 50 pounds from trying to lug it around and fold it up as good as I did. So my job is to get that over this barrier here. And I don't know, it might even be worth just taking the barricade down and trying to slide that thing out. I'll figure it out anyway. I'm going to get that out of there, get the foam that I was using as the floor insulation for them out. They'll have a nice big open space again. I'm going to check the buckets before I put them back in because I don't want them to be leaking everywhere. And yeah, so day 19 didn't start off so hot, but we're making the best of it. And check these guys out. They're pretty chunky already. They're all pretty lazy, which is how I like it. Keep eating, and processing day may even be sooner than 8 weeks time. So we'll keep you updated. Here. We are just shy of 28 days. We're at day 26 with these guys. As you can see, they are getting pretty big. The feathers are coming in pretty good on most of them. Some of them are still a little bald. I did give them some cat food. I put it in the blender, I crushed it up really fine, and I just added it right into, just put it right on top of the feed there. I also put some down along the bottom so that they could get it easy. It seemed to work pretty good for a few of them. I'm going to do that again in the next couple of days because these guys are going to be making their way outside very soon. I was hoping to do it on the weekend, but we are due for rain for the next week, I think it's saying. So I'll leave them in here for the time being because we do still have to finish off the run for them. Day 36, guys. We're moving along quite well, having the meat birds. 5 weeks now. You can tell we are still inside. We're hoping today is the last day for them. We have some really hot temperatures coming, and we just want to get these guys inside. They're getting bigger. We need more space for buckets, for more water, for more feeders. They're making quite a mess in here now. It's not terrible right now, but I did only clean this yesterday, and it's due again. That's the one thing with having the meat birds inside. They basically only eat and poop, and well, it adds up quick. So there is a little bit of cleaning with them. Once they're out in the tractor now, we'll just be moving it every day, so it's not going to build up like this, which is ideal. Hi, everybody's coming to say hello. These guys are really friendly. I interact with them every day. I hang out with the meat birds quite a bit, actually. I just like them. So as far as taking care of them, there's not really a whole lot. Basically just keep them with food, fresh water, clean bedding as much as you can. Like I said, the attractors outdoors is ideal. If our weather allowed it, I would have them out really early. It just didn't work out that way, but we're doing what we can. They're fine, they're happy, they're a little dirty, but hey, it is what it is. They're still going to taste delicious, and they still had a fantastic stay with us. Feed, they are eating a bit more. We're up to about a 50 pound bag, 25 kilogram bag, every 2.5 days, 3 days roughly. I put them on a rotation now that they're on the growing feed. I put them on roughly a 12-hour on, 12-hour off feeding. When they're small chicks and they're on the starter feed, I just have free food for them all the time. Just keep filling it up for them and just leave it in there with them. But now they are getting bigger, they're eating quite a bit more. So we do about a 12 and 12. I don't have an alarm or anything set. I just get up in the morning, and the first thing I do is I come out and I put food in with these guys, change the water for them, and just leave it for the day. And then in the evening, the last thing I do is come in and take the food out. So, however long our day is for, say, is how long they have food. And it works for us. There's, lots of different information of how often you should be feeding them, how much you should be feeding them. We just kind of go what works for us. But yeah, it's definitely time to get these guys outside. They're just getting big. They're all pretty we have some fairly chunky ones here. Oh, stop. Different sizes, so we may even split up processing. I think we will. I don't think we're going to do all of them in one day, but start kind of picking out the bigger ones within the next couple of weeks, and yeah. So today's project is, of course, getting the yard set up for them, getting them outside, getting them a little more space for fresh grass, which I know they'll love. So that's the game plan. Let's get it done. Today is a super exciting day. It is moving outside day. You're excited too, aren't you? So you can see it's super thinned out in here. I just took 40 outside to the first chicken tractor. We just did it by hand. Just go in there, grab the chicken, carry him out, and put him in the new tractor. I'll take you outside and we'll show you the new setup. These guys, I'm just waiting for the second tractor to be put into place and freed up. Not really sure when we're going to get to that, so these guys may spend one more night in the barn. They might be outside tonight, we'll see. Here we are. These are the first 40 meat birds to be outside. You can see the chicken tractor there, got shade on one side, and just a wire around there. I did put a couple of feeders on milk crates there, or sorry, a feeder and water, and I did hang one of each as well. Found some rope, found some like a carabiner there, and some sort of I don't even know what that is, but it worked. All these guys are out. They're enjoying the sun. Their first time really getting fresh grass. They seem to be doing pretty good. So the plan is rearrange this setup again from the layers to use this chicken tractor right here. For the other 17, I guess it's going to end up being. We were going to do a 40-20 split, but it'll be 40 in this one, 17 in the other one. The plan here is just to keep these guys moving every day, maybe twice a day. We'll have to see. We'll just keep monitoring the grass and how clean they are, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, we're doing a night check-in here. So this is the first night that the chicks are outside in the chicken tractors. So there was my first 40, and I did get the other 17 out this afternoon. They're all huddled in the corner, so it's probably a bit of a shock to them. They've never been outside before. Now they're going to be spending the night. But everything's looking good. I took their feed out. They all have lots of water in there. So we will check back in the morning and see how everybody did. Hey everybody, so we're going to check in with the meat birds. Here we have chicken tractor number 1 with 40 birds in it. And our second chicken tractor over here with our remaining 17. So you can see they're outside. They've been moved quite a bit. They started right up over there beside the barn a few days ago. We have been moving them once or sometimes twice a day, depending on how messy they get. And sometimes it will get very, very messy. So as you can see, I do have a couple changes. I switched out the water. We went into town and we grabbed some of these plastic planters. I found it was just a lot easier to get them in there, to put them beside the mesh there, and I could fill them a lot easier. We had a couple of days of really, really hot weather, so we were hauling a lot of buckets. It just ended up being the best option. I did the same thing over here. Of course, during the day, they get their food all day, and then we'll take that out at the end of the night. So everybody seems to be doing pretty good. I had a little accident earlier when we were moving one of the chicken tractors. This little one here is kind of sitting in the corner. She had got pulled under the tractor and she got drug a little bit. Not too far. I think she's more just in shock. She was in the bigger chicken tractor, but I moved her over to the smaller one just so where there's less birds, less chance of her getting trampled on, and I can keep an eye on her a lot easier. So it really sucks that that happened. I hope she's fine, but unfortunately that is just kind of one of the things that does happen. You have to watch for predators, for your own stupid mistakes like that. But yeah, that's just part of what it is raising animals, unfortunately. But I think she'll be fine. I gave her some food up there and some water, and like I said, I think she's just a little in shock from her little incident. I'll keep you updated. Alright guys, so here we are. We are 7.5 weeks in of having the meat birds. And today is kind of an exciting, kind of a sad day. This will be the final evening for these chickens here. We isolated the first 15 that we're going to process tomorrow. So the reason we isolate them is that we can cut them off feed about a day and a half before we process them, because we don't want anything in their digestive system when we're taking care of them there. So yeah, these guys will be gone tomorrow evening. These guys here will have a little bit more time. I'm going to do them within the next week or so. We're just going to pick at probably like 15 to 20 at a time just to make it easy. And as you can see, we have some pretty big ones in here too. So I'm going to try my best to grab kind of the bigger ones. And yeah, so 7.5 weeks, we're starting our processing. I will put a link to our video when we do actually process them. I'll do that as a separate video. So we're coming to the end here. Just kind of sad, but at the same time, I'm glad that we're going to be done, and I'm glad that the freezer is going to be full. Hey guys, we are at week number 11. Well, I'm 2 days shy of 11 weeks having these guys. These are the last 8 meat birds that we have to process. So as you can see, the tractor is really empty now. These guys are, well, they're going to be going tonight. We have everything getting set up right over here. We have the kill cones, we have the freezer cleaned out and ready, the processing table, the plucker and everything. So yeah, today, final day of having the meat birds. All in all, the last 11 weeks haven't been very hard. These guys are pretty easy keepers. I find them easy keepers. Some people don't enjoy them. The biggest thing that you have to remember with the meat birds is you have to keep them moving, you have to keep them in fresh grass. Like even these 8, look how messy they have been getting, where I haven't moved them in 2 days. Since I stopped feeding them, I just left them on the same grass, just so that they're not really getting fresh grass and eating it, and then it'll be in their digestive tract when we go to kill them. But yeah, 11 weeks. We took our time processing just because of the weather. It was so warm that we didn't really want to commit to doing more than say 10 or 15 birds each time we did it. So all I did was I'd separate the biggest, say 10 or 15 of them, put them in a separate pen where we would stop the feed for about 2 days prior to processing day. Then the next day I would pick out the next few biggest, or a few days later. Like I said, I always watch the temperatures, just because it's where we're processing outside. You want to have as ideal of conditions as you can, so you don't want the sun beaming down on you and you don't want it too hot, and it has been. There was a couple of days, well, today for example, we're waiting until probably about 7 o'clock at night. We're gonna process right till basically dark, and then what'll happen tomorrow after they soak overnight, then I will actually package everything and get it put in the freezer. So I may even show you doing that. If not, I may even do a separate video on it. When I'm finished, I'm going to do a complete breakdown of the cost as far as everything we spent, how much meat we got, and what our dollars per pound end up being. So yeah, just keep watching for that video if you want to see the actual breakdown portion of it. And yeah, today is I'm kind of sad. I do enjoy having the meat birds. I liked coming out in the mornings, taking the water out, moving the tractors, getting them fed, doing it again at evening. So I'm gonna have to find, I think, a new chore or a new task to take on to keep me busy during the day.